Today I'm going to show you partly how I have painted this view of Borders Gorse, and what I want to do is to encourage you to get out and to paint. It's a lovely thing to do, to paint outside plein air, very different from painting in the studio. So to start off with, I just blocked in my shape to where I wanted everything to be. You can see it's very rough, very loose paint. This is using acrylic. And I'm at my daughter's place here where she used to live, looking out over the borders of Scotland, not far from Hoyk. So once I'd blocked in, I came back in, and I tend to work from the distance forward. So to start off with, I'm looking at the sky, and we had these scudding clouds. Scudding is a really good word, isn't it? We had these scudding clouds going across the landscape, so it was fabulous. The blue that I used to put into the sky was a mixture of ultramarine and cerulean with some white in there. And then the clouds, obviously there's some white there as well, and my shadow colour there was a mixture of blue and brown, so it would have been ultramarine and umber and a little bit of white just to vary the shade in the clouds. And I'm trying to make them, fluffy and light and wispy. So I'm putting lots of little light bits and flecks going across the blue. So with this, I wanted to show you that you don't have to go out in public if you're not so sure about it. This was the view across the back from where Kirsty lives. She happens to have a fantastic view there. But it could be in your garden, it could be painting the view across your local park, it could be somewhere fairly simple. I'm building up the light. I tend to work from the darks to the light, so I've put the shadows in, and now I'm putting some of the fluff across there. So here we have the sky. And I fiddle a lot. It's very tempting to keep going in. I think this sky's quite dramatic. And then the next area is to start building the landscape. And in the distance, you need to have the colours muted, so they're more grey and they get brighter as they come forward. And in the distance, they're more sort of blue and purple as well. So I've kind of muted my colours down. And you can see I'm kind of almost printing with the brush, just pressing down, trying to get areas of the hillside and areas where we have trees as well. So as before, I'm putting in my darker colours first, and then I'm putting little highlights onto it, just to give the shape and the light really coming across the fields. I would be using mixtures here of ultramarine. I would have a bit of yellow ochre, a bit of I can never say how to say it, aramelide yellow, a bright yellow anyway, something like a chrome yellow, something like that. And I decided I needed a few more shadows underneath my trees. I'm just gradually building the information up as I come forward. So as I say, I tend to work from the distance forward because you can overlap. Putting in the field breaks. And as I come forward, as I say, my colours will start to get brighter. So I've got more of my yellows, more of my brighter greens, and that helps you with your aerial perspective of bringing the foreground closer towards you. Now I'll also add a little bit of more of the ochres, the warmer yellows in as the painting comes forward. It's beginning to look more like a landscape, a field landscape here. That's a lovely rich colour. Building the fields, and then I'm going to add the trees and the buildings and the sheep and other things in there. Now I will have to say that not long after this my camera decided not to record anymore, and I hadn't realised it had stopped recording. But I'm just using the same techniques and just building my colour, getting the colours brighter and warmer as they come forward, and gradually adding the details. And it's just such a lovely thing to do, to sit out there and listen to birds and look at the landscape and take it all in whilst you're painting. So I do hope that this might encourage you to have a go, to sit outside. And it can be in your back garden, it can be in the park, it can be somewhere very public. It's entirely up to you. It really does depend on where and how you like to be in terms of being in a public space. I don't mind people coming up and talking to me, but some people prefer not. Stick some earphones in, people tend to leave you alone then. Colours are getting richer as they come forward. And this was kind of where the camera stopped working, so I've added more trees coming forward. They're darker, they're stronger in colour. I've put in some of the gorse that was over by the woodland, which was lovely. And then I start adding the other details. So I've got the farmhouse, I've got the sheep, and I've started to add the trees that were in the fields. It's a beautiful view. Dry stone walls have gone in. And this is kind of what I was looking at, so it's just to give you an idea of what I was looking at. And this is the picture I ended up with. I apologise I don't have more of the video footage. So I hope this does just give you a little very brief inspiration and gives you the courage to go out and sit down and paint something plein air, because it really is a really lovely thing to do.